I'm Kevin Casey. I'm a professional mixed martial arts fighter. And right now what I'm about to do is issue a warning out to all other competitors.
I don't want overs. I just expect them to happen.
Fatty's gonna fatty is real.
He is terrible!
We gotta know how many wieners are going down these dudes' throats.
I want to go quick because I don't give a fuck about anything that's going to happen on Saturday.
Hello, boys! We are back. It's December. We're a couple weeks away from Christmas. The MMA Analysis podcast. Two events left in the UFC year. Wes, you know I'm going to ask you first.
Don't do it to me, Jay.
Sean, should I talk to him about it or no?
Don't do it to me, Jay.
I mean, you kind of have to.
You know, the Mecca.
You coming in on a
basketball.
ship? Coming in on a pirate ship?
Yeah. We got one guy. One guy killed you. He didn't even make a winning shot. Another guy did. It was great. It was a classic game at the Garden in December. It's fun. But I won't torch you.
Nah, man. All things aside, dude, was that not like a great all-time college basketball game, though? Like, seriously.
For a regular season non-conference game, I mean, it doesn't get much better.
Yeah,
Half-court shots, game winners, fun stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't even count how many basketball games I've watched, and a lot of huge ones because, got a very good program. But I've watched a lot of huge games, man, and that ranks up there, man, even in the loss. Just the shot making at the end there, the half-court shot. I mean, you just don't see that every day. And that was like pure. That wasn't no like heave. That was
It's switched.
Yeah, that was legit. And then homeboy on y'all's team, man, Jesus Christ.
Pal.
That fucking kid, man, he went insane, dude, and it ain't what our defense ain't been like great. It ranks like way down there in three-point defense. But some of those shots were literally fucking 5 feet off the line with a hand in his face, man, and he was just flicking them. He was on fire. He was just flicking them up there, dude. It was a pretty good performance, man. Hell of a game. Congrats. Games like that change programs, though, man, in college basketball. Like, kids watch Saturday afternoon games of Kentucky on ESPN playing at the Garden, whoever it is.
It was down Fox. Big Fox.
Oh, yeah, Big Fox. Yeah, Big Fox. National TV at noon on a Saturday. Kentucky playing at the Garden. I mean, it doesn't matter who they're playing, but it happened to be your Seton Hall Pirates, man, and they pulled one off. That's program changing, man. That's gonna get kids looking at that program. And that might not be a bunch of 5 stars and stuff, but you're gonna have some decent players that are freshmen, sophomores in high school that watch that game and are like, man, I like how Seton Hall plays. It'll put more eyes on them, man. Yeah,
scrappy New York, New Jersey style basketball. Those kids, it's a good hotbed for the sport. The area.
Not going? You regret not going now, though? Not being at that game?
Well, when you go, it usually never turns out that way.
Yeah, I know.
Of course.
I know.
I mean, to be fair, though, I did see a double overtime game at MSG earlier this year where Zach LaVine went off for 40 against the Knicks, so that was kind of like a cool thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
The Knicks lost on they fouled LaVine with like a second to go on the second overtime, like idiots. But, but that was so... Maybe I have a string coming up, but yeah, my thing is usually if I go, it's
You're bad luck for a good game.
I'm not hot foot. Yeah, as my wife calls it, hot foot is good luck. I'm not a hot foot when it comes to that. So
I tell you,
anyway,
one of the craziest things about me going to live sporting events is I've watched Jay. You know how hard it is to win NASCAR races. I've been to I want to say 5 or 6 races, 2 Brickyards that Jeff Gordon won. And that's just insane. I was like that. I was that hot foot 10 years ago when I was going to races all the time. I've actually been in person to see him win, which is pretty insane. But
yeah, it's fun when that happens.
Yeah,
we did see Logano win live, and we were rooting for him. My wife's a huge Logano fan, so they're maybe good things coming free.
It's big.
So, next thing I go to has got to be big.
Yeah, it's big to watch your guy win at a NASCAR race because it's like super fucking hard to win those and to be there all at the same time. It's pretty cool.
Very cool. And new Sean, what's going on with you? You're traveling a bit. Hockey, doing hockey stuff. What else is going on up there?
That's pretty much it. The Oilers are streaking. We've won 4 straight.
Wow.
We're not on. Yeah, we're not
That's
shitting
like
the
the
bed.
most amount of wins in 5 years.
That's why we went with that big fade on him, and the whole world was on that fade, and someone fucking crashed the party and then just blew his entire life. But
Yep.
That again.
It happens, but yeah, we changed coaches, and it seemed to work so far, and we're back in a playoff spot, so can't complain too much. It's a good time when the Oilers are in the playoffs for me, because that's what I live and breathe.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So
good card last weekend.
there's a lot going
Yeah.
on. So some quick news and notes. One, who we originally was announced, a certain journalist said, one signed a deal with Turner Sports, including TNT coverage and Bleacher Report Live, which was supposed to be, or was led everyone to believe that it was going to be kind of like UFC's deal with ESPN, where there'd be some events that are on TNT and some events that are on the Bleacher Report Live.
Psych.
And then, of course, quickly after that, it's just a Bleacher Report Live deal. And, that's okay.
it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fine. So now it's not the same, but I guess they'll have replayed events and some shoulder programming on TNT. So that's better than what they had. They basically had no U.S. presence up until this point, so that's cool. But now you have on the streaming services, you have UFC with ESPN Plus, you have Bellator with
DAZN.
DAZN, which I saw that commercial a million times over the weekend. I was like, oh, it's a terrible commercial. And now one is with Bleacher Report, and World Series of Fighting, I guess, / PFL is doing whatever they do with NBC Sports. So you got a lot going on.
Yeah. I thought I still think it's cool because what I think is going to happen is they will do those kind of fight replays on TNT, I think, in better time spots. And I think they'll do more kind of those 10-minute kind of backstory cuts and stuff on more fighters and stuff, which more casual fans they really like that. They got those kind of fans live for the countdown shows and shit. That's the type of shit they watch.
How you learn, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think they're going to do that, which I think that'll get more casual fans to check them out online. And with those streaming services, man, a lot of them is got more too. Like BR Live now has Champions League rights. They have NBA rights to certain games, and ESPN Plus. I mean, they did that big boxing deal. They have MLS rights. They got Serie A rights. You're getting all the college basketball games and all that stuff with their package. DAZN has they have NFL rights and stuff up in Canada.
Canelo Alvarez, man.
Yeah, that's big time. I mean, that's
Sure
one of the most popular. So this is we've said it for a few years. I think all of us have. Pay-per-view and all that, and even your cable TV is a dying thing, man. Everything is going to go to these pay services. I mean, that's just where it's at. I mean, I want to say Nelson released something just a few days ago. I think Rovell tweeted it out, but from 18 to 35-year-old, the average time watching a TV now is just a little over 2 hours, to where like almost
2 hours of what?
Yeah, just TV watching, per day, to where 65-year-old, it's like 6 hours. You know what I'm saying? So like young people are literally watching. They're watching everything. Yeah, that, and then like
computers.
You probably watch before you go to bed, and maybe
Well, we're just talking. We're talking cable, though. All young people are using set-top boxes and Apple boxes and Fire TVs and all that stuff. That's what they're using now. So, I mean, just that's another component of it to where live sports is going to go to these streaming services, and they're pretty. They're robust if you think about it for the price. I mean, you can pay that. I mean, ESPN's going to be $10. BR Live is like $7.99, $8.99, something like that. So, I mean, they're not really expensive for all the content you're going to get, especially if you're a combat sport. If you're a boxing and an MMA fan, like ESPN Plus with their boxing, their deals with PBC and all that stuff now. I mean, they're doing massive amounts of boxing cards. Somebody like me and you, Jim, I mean, we watch boxing, soccer, MMA, I mean, college ball, all that. Those are worth it for us. I mean, absolutely. I'm just
reading some tweets. So New Jersey brought in $330 million in sports bets in the month of November.
So yeah, they're already racking it, man.
$928 million so far since it's been legalized. So
they got
break $1 billion already in gambling revenue. It's like stupid money. Yeah.
And the mobile is just now getting up and running smoothly. So just imagine when that shit's all running smoothly and you can mobile. The
mobile's fine. I like the mobile app. The only thing is it's a little annoying with the state thing, but hopefully that opens up as more states legalize and you can cross state borders and place your bets and all that stuff on the mobile. That's another story for another day.
Yeah, and then you can't bet on like college teams that are in state or something like that too, right?
So you cannot bet on the Seton Hall. I couldn't bet on the Seton Hall Kentucky game. Correct. It was unavailable. It's part of the state.
I mean, I'm fine with that if that's one of the things. If you can't
really
bet
that's the only situation.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, and it ain't like if most people have another account, but
Yes.
As for the streaming service, I think it's getting there. We're almost to the point where you don't need cable. We're really close. It's just there's still a couple things that you just can't get.
Delay is just
and the delay sucks, but I mean they'll work on that eventually. It should be better, but it just kind of sucks that right now we're still kind of in that in between where you obviously have to get all these to get certain things, but then you're also stuck with the cable bill. I give it another couple of years and you can be all streaming, and then it's completely replaced cable. I mean, some people it already has, but it just depends on what all you watch. But there's going to be still a couple that are hanging on to just still cable. But we're getting close.
There's actually they've got to the point now where there's legit streaming services just for your cable if that's what you want. PlayStation does it, Sling and all that shit. It's just to some people it's not. You got to have a decent internet connection to run that shit too, or it's it can buffer on you and shit. And I think older people that make those decisions, it's hard for them to switch over and trust that shit.
Yep.
Once they do, though,
technology issues.
Yeah, but there's fixes to it. You got to run a decent internet connection if that's the choice you're going to make. That's two things you got to put together. But yeah, like Sean said, it's going to get to the point where it's not even going to be profitable for some of these places. They're not going to have the subs for what they charge people. Satellite bills. Hell, when I was running everything on my satellite, it was $180 something a month.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's just absolutely insane. They make they make those Sling packages that are, most channels you watch for $30-$40 a month. So
that's the issue. It's a changing landscape, and we're going to see how it shakes out. I mean, personally, I think people are just going to pay for half a dozen different streaming services at some point, and that will be that. I mean, somebody will connect them up as well. It's just kind of the way it's going. But we'll see. Cable's definitely lost some luster. It's just
good for one, though.
Too expensive, and good for one. Second story.
You called it, Jay.
I did call it. So I think I said on last week's show that they will cancel UFC 221.
Was it you?
Yeah,
233.
Yeah.
UFC 2. They will cancel UFC 233 to enhance the UFC on ESPN show because it's important. It's more important than that pay-per-view. And here we are.
That was kind of half right. Yeah.
The hilarious part is like they try to pussyfoot around and not try to call it canceled when it's straight up canceled. They're just like, well, it's delayed, but we're not going to call it that number when they do end up making another pay-per-view. Like, we're still going to do 12 pay-per-views, but you're fucking canceling it. Like, just call it what it is.
Or postponing it, whatever. It's not here.
Yeah, it's just
and
not
it's fine. But then you got then you have all the Bellator nut huggers that are trying to make it out to be that, oh, Bellator's event is so strong the UFC had to cancel theirs. It has nothing to do with you, Mooks.
That was a good tweet, though.
That was funny.
Bellator nerds.
Bellator
nerds. Bellator nerds. It is not about you. I guarantee you it is not about you. It has nothing to do with you. It just happened to be that you had an event at the same city on the same day, and these mooks thought it was a good idea to put together a terrible event on ESPN with Paige Van Zandt against Ostovich in a co-main event, and then throw Hardy on the same stupid event, and now they're like, well, now we have to cover up. Let's be honest. Those idiots over in Vegas don't know what they're doing either.
Nope.
And you idiots over in San Jose, California, don't know what you're doing either.
Well, like, I think the UFC in the first place, absolutely, they put that card on to go against Bellator. I think that for sure, but they didn't cancel it because of Bellator. You know, they give a fuck less about that part. But Dana in the past has put up cards against Bellator cards on the same weekend. But Jay, you got it right though on them canceling it, but I don't think it was totally to boost the first ESPN card because a lot of those fights are going to other cards and shit, like Phoenix card and.
Well, they already have 10 events. They already have 10 fights scheduled on the whatever it is. Is that Phoenix or Brooklyn? Whatever event. It is. What's the first one?
They just needed a main.
First
yeah,
one,
they just needed that.
Yeah,
and they took the best fight off of that card. So
yes. So that was kind of the point. They needed they're probably going to add maybe they'll add the Vic and Felder fight onto the Brooklyn card. I have a feeling they're going to because Felder's from Philadelphia area, and it kind of just makes sense to do it there. And so I could see that fight added, and then they don't really need any other fights. I mean, how many do you need? You got a title fight, you got Vic and Felder, you got Van Zandt, you got Greg Hardy. I mean, it's solid enough. It does the job, and Cerrone's on there too, right? I think so. So
is that? I thought.
Is he fighting Hernandez on that?
No, he was.
He
was on that other card. Yeah, he was on the card that got canceled, right?
No, he's fighting Hernandez there.
No, Hernandez is fighting someone else. But yes.
Are you sure about that? I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure.
I mean, Wikipedia. It's
right.
usually pretty on point. They're saying that that fight is on that card, as well as obviously Benavidez and Figueiredo. But I don't know.
It could be another Alexander Hernandez. I just forget though.
They announced yesterday or the day before where those fights were going.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking them up. Let's see if I can find it.
Capology is usually on it. They usually switch their shit around within a couple hours after shit's announced.
I'm looking a little bit. Van Zandt, Ostovich, Glover and Cute Labia, Calderwood and Lipsky, Randy Brown against some guy. Bilal Muhammad and Jeff Neal. That'll be fun. Yeah, that's all they have scheduled. That's all they have on the UFC website. And when's this Lineker? Oh, they're not doing the Lineker fight with Dominic Cruz anymore.
No, because
he got hurt, didn't he?
Yeah, Lineker's fucked up his shoulder and needs surgery. Surprise. So now we'll get a better fight, hopefully, because
right.
I want to see Lineker knock people out. So we'll see.
That's fun.
You could put Lineker out there against Lance, and I'll watch.
They were talking about trying to make Lineker...
I would love to watch that.
I would too. They were trying to make Lineker Garbrandt, but Garbrandt says he's still hurt, which...
Oh, I'd love to. I'd pay to see that.
Yes.
I'd love that.
I'd be putting out
He-
a pretty
he
decent sized
fucking-
bet on that one.
He'd mush the other side of that kid's brain. Jesus. Lineker's a badass. If you ain't gonna spam takedowns and try to fucking put that dude up against the cage or something, you're in trouble.
Yep.
I don't care who you are.
That's exactly right. So I think that's the key MMA news for the week. I don't think I forgot anything other than that De La Hoya was on someone's show and he was saying,
Okay.
"Oh yeah, we're still going to be having more events."
Sure.
Oh, and Dana White's going to help promote it. Like that makes no sense. But yeah, exactly.
He's on one, that's for sure.
But we did have an event last week. We'll start with the early prelims. Alexander Rakic came from behind against Devin Clark to knock him out inside of round 1. Carlos Diego Ferreira, after a couple minutes of getting warmed up, had no problems with Kyle Nelson, TKOing him in round 2. Chad Laprise got all mookie.
Mook.
Diego Lima with a rare knockout victory in the UFC. Good Lord.
We tried to warn
And
you.
then Matt Lopez once again got a bit tired in the third round, and
He could have won that fight.
winning a decision. I'll start with the Sodsman. What are your thoughts on those early prelims?
Yeah, I think people are crowning Rakic a little bit too early here. I need to see a little more, but I saw a lot of people like, oh, he's the next thing at 205, and it's like, slow down,
The next
man.
thing at 205 is getting dropped by Devin Clark multiple times. Right on.
Yeah,
Dominic Reyes wasn't getting dropped by Devin Clark, so
I can't see it.
higher up on the list.
CDF man is he's good, even on the sauce or off the sauce. That guy's good, and props to that dude Nelson, because that guy literally said fuck it and went out there and swung, and that was pretty cool, man. I got respect for that guy. Yeah, we said it on the show. I think all three of us did. Couldn't touch fucking shitty Lima, but Laprise is the mook of all mooks, man. That dude shouldn't be minus 300 to fucking anybody on the planet. Cantona looked pretty good to me, man. But Matt, I thought Lopez was in that fight, man. At plus 250, I would take that bet again tomorrow, dude. That Lopez just, man, he looks like he's got the chest of a fucking 60-year-old man. He just looked like really bad out of shape, dude. He always does. But, I mean, he was in it. I thought it was, third round could have won it. Cantona, Deadmore, man. Still, you give me a Canadian hype train out of SBG, I'm fading that every single time.
New Sean.
CDF got cracked a couple times early. That's kind of always the scary part of getting a late replacement fight, and we've definitely seen some guys get kind of caught off guard by some random dude that they got to fight last minute. But luckily he got through that and then did what he was supposed to do. Laprise, that was just bad. One hitter quitter, man. Holy shit, he just melted him. And then the Cantona Lopez fight. They're pretty fairly closely matched when it comes to just overall skills. It's just Lopez needs to work on that cardio, and I don't know if he needs.
He was winning. He was winning when they was actually like both fresh. I mean, Lopez was actually
he was
winning
doing well
fairly easily. Yeah,
he was doing well, but that I don't know if that cardio is just something he can't fix or won't fix, but he needs to figure that out. And like Wes said, I'll be looking to fade Cantona because that did not look like a minus 200, minus 300 fighter for sure.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely didn't. Next bout. This is one we lost in quotations. Elias Theodorou awarded a split decision victory over Eric Anders. This deserves a couple minutes.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Can we talk about judging? I mean, What is the 10-8 round?
Okay.
Tell me what a 10-8 round is.
Can I ask you? I didn't watch live, so I didn't see the first fight. Did they say it's the new? Was it the new judging system or new rules and all that shit, or is it still the old one?
I guess it's the old one. Doesn't matter.
I'm not sure. I'm not positive.
I mean, we know with the old system how hesitant they are to make 10-8 rounds, but if it was the new system, I mean, even if it wasn't, the difference between the second round to the first and third is obscene.
It's obscene.
When you rock a guy and he is
how many times?
Like at least twice. Dropped him twice. Was on Bambi legs a couple times. Like, how can you say that that's the same score as a fight where as the first round with all those bullshit kicks and stuff? I mean, we I guess we should know that from now on. We kind of got to bet and hope that your guy's going to be more active and if he is going to hurt a guy that he can finish. I don't know. It's annoying. We've been beating this to death. No 10-8s, not even one. That's insane. Yeah, I would advise anybody not to fight Theodoro, especially in Canada.
Yeah,
because that is not a guy that it is very easy to look good against because of the way he fights. I'm sure you guys have seen the GIFs. I forget who it was, but
Staying Alive.
Staying Alive. That one was unreal. And then there was another one where it's like, oh, this is when you're playing UFC on Xbox, and your buddy's trying to see what all the buttons do, and he's just like flicking out a kick, throwing out a punch, like in air. Man. And I know Theodoro's got all these stats of strikes and stuff like that, but most of his strikes have absolutely no power on them at all. But I guess they're significant according to the people who take stats. But yeah, as for Anders, he's got to be better. He's got to get some more skill, get some more kicking, get some more cardio. I thought he was going to be a bit better than this. I'm not totally writing him off. I think he can still excel, but he's just too one-dimensional, and he's just not active enough. And against a guy like Theodoro, that's going to be kryptonite, whether he deserved this loss or not. It wasn't a very good performance.
Yeah. Yeah, first on the judging, I don't care what we're at, old, new, fucking future, I don't care. You drop a guy 3 times in a round and have him stumbling around the cage for a good 2.5, 3 minutes of the round, that's a fucking 10-8. I did bet Anders pretty heavily, so I'm biased, but man, I don't know what we're doing anymore if that's not a 10-8 round. That whatever. Besides that, like Sean said, Anders has to be better than that. He did break his hand though in that fight. I think I read that today. He's got to have surgery on his hand, so I let him off the hook a little bit. But I don't know, man. He looked a little punch drunk almost to me in that fight. Slow. Everything was coming off so slow, dude. Some of his stuff didn't look like it had any power on it at times. He has taken I think he's fought 3 or 4 times this year, 2 or 3 times this year, and been in some hellacious fights, man. I don't know if he needs a little time off. Definitely needs to get better. And man, he
cuts a shit ton of weight too. Did you see the tweet about what he was weighing on fight day? Cause
230 or something.
230 or something. Yeah, that's not healthy.
Jesus.
I love our Canadian media dudes up there, but them acting like Theodoro strikes records and all this stuff is like, look, all strikes ain't created equal. And if you think those pity pat leg kicks and shit and all that, come on, man. The dude's all right. he's going to be a tough dude because, like Sean said, he's going to be hard to look good against. And don't fight that guy in Canada. There's no way. If you have anything, if you're on any kind of streak, if you're in any kind of position to get somewhere in that division, don't go fight that dude in Canada. I don't care what they tell you, because you're probably going to lose. He's going to make it look ugly, and they're going to give him rounds, man. And I don't get it, man. The stuff Anders hit him with, like even the third rounder, I believe it was the third. It was close, but I thought Anders won the fight. I know I was biased, but I mean the stuff he was even hitting him with was just doing way more damage. And I even think, like I said, Anders, some of his stuff looked slow and off. It was still hurting him. So you're not going to beat that guy in Canada. Don't go fight that dude in Canada.
Yeah, I'm with you. Jessica I beating Caitlin Mookagian split decision. Yeah, she wasn't that mooky. It just really wasn't that good of a fight. No surprise there. And am I the only one who's just so tired of her act?
Yep.
Yeah, you ain't good enough to act like that.
The opposite of likable. And it's not a new thing. She had the whole weed thing, and then she just gets caught with weed, and that's annoying. And then she thinks she's a lot bigger deal than anybody even.
Right.
It's not close. She's calling for a title shot. Nobody gives a fuck, Jessica I. Nobody.
And then she brings a emotional support dog this time. Nah, you're done.
Wrong audience for that one. Wrong audience.
That's fantastic. I'm glad that was brought up. Gilbert Burns looking pretty good against.
Y'all are right.
Yeah, Ohm he's just a mook.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily see it, but the way it played out, I didn't think that Burns would be able to get Ohm to the ground like he did. He
fought smart. He fought a really smart fight, I thought, man. Burns been
not good, man. I think we learned that.
I think
it's
Ohm's
a bad
decent.
Matchup.
Stylistically,
this fight.
It ended up being that way. Yeah, I didn't. Burns just been kind of mooky, man, and stuff, and he fought smart. And yeah, if Burns fights to his actual strengths, I think like he did in that fight. Yeah, it was a horrible matchup style wise, man. Burns impressed me, man. I've been a little down on him, but yeah, you got to take Ohm down a grade. That's for sure, man.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any thoughts? Any thoughts there on Canada pound for pound number 9?
Well, as for my Burns TKO dart had a glimmer of hope. He did drop him a couple times, but Gilbert Burns is good, man. He throws heat. He's got that jiu-jitsu against a lot of guys. He's kind of a tough matchup. And then for Ohm, yeah, I was surprised that he was taken down that much. I thought his wrestling and his judo would have kept it on the feet. I don't know what you do here. You definitely got to downgrade him and give him an easy fight. He's kind of lost a couple now, so he needs to fight someone easy on the next Canada card, I guess. I don't know what they do with him.
He's gotten tough outs both times.
Yeah, man. It's not like he's fighting easy fighters. Like he fought Hernandez, who is obviously good. And
Tony Martin and stuff.
Yeah, he fought Evan Dunham, who's now he's kind of a rough veteran, but Drew Dober, he's fought decent guys. It's just, he's on a 2-fight losing streak, so you got to get him a win, I think, at this point.
Probably right. Later up on the prelims, this one was disappointing just for me. Nina Ansaroff, unanimous decisioning Claudia Gadelha. Wes, how far has Claudia fallen?
Yeah, I think this is far more about how far off she's fallen than Ansaroff being any kind of fucking great fighter or something. You mentioned Barao, before the show, and I don't think it's that far, but man, it's really damn close, man. And it was hell, after one of the JJ fights or something, right after that, man, she just ain't the fucking same. Even the fight she was winning, I mean, once the third round hit, it was like fucking holding on to your seat if you had any kind of money on her because you didn't know what the fuck was going to happen. Yeah, I mean, she killed me, man. Like I had a pretty good amount on her and Shevchenko, which was just an incredible line, but we'll talk about that. But yeah, man, she's got to be on the no bet anymore. I don't care against who. I mean, Nina Ansaroff, come on, man, seriously, no way.
Yeah, new Sean.
Yeah, I don't know if Jessica Andrade stole her soul in that fight or what, but ever since that
she
fight,
certainly beat the crap out of her.
She did, and I don't know if that actually changed her because she has been off since she was able to squeak by Carla Esparza. I was a bit worried just because she did have 2 bad performances in a row, and might as well make it 3. I don't know what it is. I don't know if everybody's kind of caught up to her. It doesn't seem like her wrestling works anymore. Like, she couldn't get Nina Ansaroff down and keep her down at all, and that used to be her bread and butter.
Her shots are just terrible now, too. I mean, she literally doesn't have any kind of entries whatsoever.
I know. They're just telegraphed from way out, so I don't know what it is. Like, is she done? Did everybody catch up to her? I don't know what it is.
Does she need to move up in weight? Is she drained?
Nina Ansaroff, though? Like, Nina fucking Ansaroff caught up to her?
She's got better, but not that much better.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she needs to take a fight at 125 to see if... But her game is wrestling, and that's going to get even tougher at 125 against bigger chicks.
Small.
So I don't know. I don't know what we do from here. But... yeah, I mean, Nina Ansaroff is congrats on taking that spotlight because I mean that was a big fight for her. She was a big underdog and she came through. So, congrats to her.
Fair enough. Main card,
round of the year candidate.
Jesus,
man,
Thiago
Bungalows
Santos. Going slugging with Jimmy Manuwa, and then eventually land some Herculean shots that just deaded Manuwa. Wes, take us through this bout.
Look, I mean, seriously, at this point, Thiago Santos rates up there with Johnny fucking Lineker. Primetime shit for me, man.
What do they both have in common, by the way?
Well, just Brazilian.
There you go.
Bangers.
Brazilian fucking brawlers.
Yeah.
That's what they are.
I mean,
Porcina, though. There's
that guy. Yeah, there is, man. Santos is literally must see TV, man. Like that dude is something else, man. He gives no fucks, and props to Manuwa, man, because that dude literally, like, his chin held up way better than I thought it was going to. Like, he hurt Santos, man, and I was worried. Like, I was like, oh, shit, and then Santos literally comes back with that fucking spinning kick and shit. Like, that was a wild round, man. Round 1 of that fight was straight up round of the year type shit, man. I've watched it back a few times already, man. It's great, dude. And then, I mean, the finishing blow he put on Jimmy, man, like, holy shit, that was that Ngannou to Reem almost type uppercut from fucking way down, dude. that was a great fight, man. And yeah, Santos, like I said, is up there for me, dude. That guy is must see every single time out. He's fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, he is. New Sean.
Yeah, hell of a way to start pay-per-view. Just all-out war. Santos said he's like, yeah, I had a game plan that I was going to do, and then in the back I just said, fuck it, I'm going to brawl. And what resulted was just absolute madness. Fun to watch, man. Thiago Santos, he's creeping up there on the light heavyweight division. I wouldn't want to fight that guy unless I was a wrestler. That's for damn sure.
Or as it goes down to one of the most what the fuck just happened moments ever, Eric Spicely. I'll never get over that shit ever.
Yeah,
Do you see something about Spicely? There's an article that came out about him.
He's
today.
trying out for WWE.
And you believe that? What the hell? Why?
Yeah, I wouldn't blame him because he's not a good fighter, so you might as well trying out for WWE.
Why would WWE think you'd be worthy?
Oh, look at that body, though. Come on, Jay.
Yeah.
That body.
Riddle over making bank in the wrestling world, ain't he?
Yeah, but he's actually good.
Yeah.
And it actually looks like he could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good for that dude. He's a wild man. He belongs over in that kind of world for sure.
Damn. Hakeem Dawadu,
Number 3.
Canadian MMA pound for pound number 5.
Yeah,
5. Oh shit!
sounds about right.
Split decision victory over Kyle Botsman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is fucked. That is fucked.
Is this fight still worth discussing? It was kind of just like whatever. I mean, honestly.
No,
That's
just bad judging. Like 2 30-27s and then a 28-29. Like, oh my god.
At times that happens, Sean. I mean, let's be honest here.
Yeah, I don't think Dawadu's that special. I mean, maybe he's gonna continue to rise here. Kyle Bochniak is a tough guy, so you got to be careful of that. Just because if you overextend, you'll and wear yourself out, he can take over in a fight. But I had goes the distance, and that was fairly easy. Other than that, right at the end.
Dawadu's kickboxing is elite, but I don't know about the rest of it.
Yep.
Yeah. 3 fights left on the card. Little Gunny Nelson, SPG number 2.
Except he doesn't train at SPG anymore, so that's why he won.
That's why he won.
Got on that sauce.
Halmore had a chance here at one point, but once he got taken to the mat, and that cut, good times. Gunnar Nelson does what Gunnar Nelson does. He submits you. Wes, thoughts here?
Yeah, it was a really fun fight, but I want to talk more about kind of the just refereeing just stupidity that we see over and over. I mean, like he stops it, and when Cowboy grabs the cage, and I mean, Gunner's probably going to work and get a takedown eventually there in that spot, and I mean, he kind of stops it, and you can't do that. Yeah, you tell him that, but if you're going to stop that and kind of end the action and, just the whole sequence there quits and stops and they have to start, you got to take a point. I mean, you can't, like I said, I think Gunner eventually still works into a takedown there. Once they stop it, put them back in a position that's slightly close to where they were and everything else, things change, you know what I'm saying? That gives Cowboy even just that split second to think about what he wants to do when it gets restarted. So if you're going to do that in a fight at that time, you got to take a point or something, man. After that, I mean, it was a wild ass fight. I thought it was pretty good. Props to Gunner, man, his nose was cracked. I mean, he was bleeding everywhere, man, and he stayed in it, man, and Cowboy always brings it, dude. That guy's fun. That cut he took on his head. There's been few times I've seen a lot of cage fights, man. There's been very few times I've seen a guy gushing out of his head like Cowboy was. I mean, that shit was leaking everywhere, man. It was pretty awesome.
Fair. New Sean, any thoughts there?
Yeah, that ref is absolute fucking trash. He always is. He's made some absolute terrible errors before, and I usually shout him out every time and say he's going to get somebody killed. At minimum, in that situation when that's a blatant cage grab, just put the guy on his back.
On his back, yeah.
On
his
back. I know nobody wants to take a point. Unless you do something crazy bad a bunch of times, but at least put the guy on his back, and that's coming from a guy that bet on Cowboy, so that's kind of ridiculous. As for Cowboy, I feel like you got to bet him in like round 1 or round 2 because
he'll quit.
He will quit.
I said it.
And I don't know. I don't even know if it's quitting. I think it's just he put so much into trying to finish and just do his thing that if the guy does not break, then it's kind of over for him. That blood was absolutely fucking ridiculous. I was actually kind of worried about the dude, about blood loss. There was so much blood coming out of him. Gunny Nelson is definitely not a guy that's going to quit. He got roughed up pretty bad. He got roughed up in the first, which, I mean, it happens a lot to guys that fight Cowboy, but we'll see what comes of it, because I don't know, like he was shredded, but is he big for that weight class? I feel like he's small for 170.
Cowboy's just huge.
But I think that must what it is. Cowboy's just massive, and it's wild that guy fought at 155. But yeah, both fun fighters. Excited to see what both of them do next.
Yeah, Cowboy's top game, if he gets on top of you on the mat, it's bad, dude. Yeah, like that
ground
dude's
and
got some
fucking scary.
Yeah, man.
Yes, it is. 2 title fights left on the card. This one kind of went according to plan. Valentina really didn't have much of a problem with Joanna, 49-46 across the board. You know, just outclassed her on the feet, no?
Yeah, that was... I mean, this might have been about the easiest fight to pick on the entire card. I saw some people picking, even betting JJ. I mean, you got a decent number, but I don't know how you thought she was really going to win this fighter. I mean, she was so much smaller. I mean, there's really not a lot to Shevchenko. Like, I mean, she looked really good in this fight, but I mean, she literally doesn't move her feet, doesn't move her head. She just kind of sways back, comes up, and throws a couple of different strikes, man, and it just lit JJ up the entire fight. Yeah, she pretty much had no chance here. I thought the minus 315, 320 she was pretty generous in this spot, and then her points handicap, I think, was just a little bit of juice, wasn't it, Sean?
I got plus money. I think it closed a little bit of juice.
Yeah, I think I got it late, so I think I might have minus 115 or something like that. But that was insane. You know, I put a pretty big bet on that, and I thought she won all 5 rounds. I thought that was kind of bad, man. I don't know what round you actually gave JJ in that fight. I mean, the stats and everything. I mean, she got pretty much trucked in every single round. So, but yeah, good on Shevchenko. I mean, that division, dude. I don't know what they're doing with all this stuff, man, because you literally have nobody that's really close to the top couple chicks. So who fucking knows, man?
Yeah, unless someone moves down from 135, that could happen at some point.
She goes back up. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's no fights, man.
Yeah, it's called.
Valentina could just have a long.
She's going to be Mighty Mouse version 2.0. There's just nobody. I mean, it is what it is.
It's a woman, and that's something. And they like
what weight is my girl in, though? What weight
Tatiana's fit 115.
Oh, I was gonna say,
but I mean, she's a big girl, so I mean, I don't know how hard that weight cut is. I mean, she's a wrestler, so she knows how to cut weight, but eventually she could probably move up to 125, and maybe that's who.
That'd be fun in the future.
Yep.
Maybe Andrade will move up at some point. I mean, there's a few different possibilities.
Yeah, just what's there right now is what's there right now is not much. It's you're going to be looking for fighters that are good in other weight classes, moving up or moving down.
Yeah, there really isn't that much bantamweight. I'm just looking like Holly Holm and Pena. They're too big, and Durandame and Caitlin Vieira, Zingano. I mean, there's not Pennington. I mean, at that point, like, what's the point?
Yeah. So, I question that all the time. What's the point in this weight class? But,
let's cut the flyweights, but let's keep around all this.
Valentina's fairly entertaining in her approach and whatnot, so I don't hate it. I mean, the strawweight thing's way more interesting. I mean, if Rose ever moves up, I mean, she's so lanky that Andrade makes too much sense. That's really it. I mean, at that point, I mean, we'll see. Just let her dominate. Tell people, take on all comers, or she'll move up herself and hold 2 belts, which certainly seems like a possibility. I mean, she already beat Amanda Nunes in my mind, so yeah. But whatever. I mean,
Nunes about to get killed anyway, so
yeah, I'm okay with that too. Main events.
Woo!
The real deal.
Max Holloway landed nearly 300 significant strikes over the course of 20 minutes.
Insanity.
The ref had the doctor had to come in and stop this fight because Brian Ortega certainly wasn't giving up. That was pretty impressive from both fighters. Ortega is the first guy I've seen that's actually been able to throw in the pocket with Holloway with some level of success. It was limited, but there was he landed some shots, Wes. He did.
He definitely landed some shots.
Max gets hit.
Max gets hit, and if you throw that many strikes, you throw that many strikes, you're gonna get hit. Max
takes one every now and then to hit you with 5 or 6. Like that's his game.
The volume approach is going to be very hard to beat. I mean, that's just unless you can take this guy to the ground and slow him down. You're not going to win a striking contest with him. I don't know if anybody is. Maybe. I mean, I'd love to see the Ferguson fight. I really would. Wes.
Yeah. The whole Max rumor shit was just all, I think, ended up being. Now we know it was blown out of proportion because he did get hit a little bit. He always does. He took them smiling. I mean, that's usually his game though. But I mean, we said it before all that stuff. We're watching a special guy here, dude. Like straight up, and enjoy Max while you got him because he's legit gonna go down as an all-time great, man, and that's no bullshit. The streak, just all the punch stats, and Ortega. I mean, I still think he's really good. I still say it, and I said it going in. His record is kind of deceiving because I think he was losing a lot of fights, and he pulled off some spectacular stuff. Never saw him having a chance to catch Max with something like that. And man, I just that was a hell of a performance from Max, man. All the talk coming in, and then like, man, the money that moved on Ortega was just at one point Max was what plus 115.
Yep.
And you're going off on that on rumor pretty much. I mean, I even talked to our boy Matty on Twitter, and I mean, we had even talked about it. He was thinking about betting Ortega when he was a dog because of all the stuff, going around. I was like, man, just all things equal, though, you have to take a little bit of that out of it. And there's no way Max should have ever been an underdog to this guy. That is just fucking insane, man. We're watching an all-time great. And, yeah, man, there's so many good matchups out there for Holloway. But I'll tell you what, man, I don't who's going to beat that guy, though? Like, seriously, at 145, I don't see it. I mean, 55 gets a little different, but I would take him right now over Ferguson.
Yep.
And I like Ferguson a lot, but I'm telling you, he would tool Tony Ferguson up. I really believe that, man. Ferguson is way too wild to go toe to toe with Max. And man, I mean, I don't think Ortega has like the best wrestling or anything, but he's got very good entries and can get guys on the mat when he wants to, man. I mean, he wasn't even close to getting Max down. I mean, that dude's takedown defense is just absolutely insane. So most fights are going to happen on the feet where Max wants it to happen. So, man, he's a really, really tough out for guys up at 155, man. I mean, there's a one, special guy up there though. I think would probably give him a little bit of trouble. That'd be the more interesting fight to me. And I'd even like to see him fight Conor again one day at 155. Man, that's a guy I think that as much as I talk about Conor, he's still got some power in his hands, man. So that'd be interesting too. So yeah, there's matchups for Max, but I think they're probably the big ones are at 155. But I'd really like to see him stay at 145, man, as long as he can, and go on a reign like DJ did and cement his greatness, man. And another laughable thing is fucking Dana saying, "Oh, I don't think Max he can't make that weight no more." And it dude makes the weight under a half a pound when he weighs in. Looks as good as I've ever seen him look on the scale. He usually looks fucking really bad. Looked great. Went out there, tooled up Ortega, and Dana's talking about this dude moving to 155. Fucking bozo show.
Max is just absolutely phenomenal. He's right up there, I think, he's getting up there with best, like top 10, almost best ever. He is what the Diaz brothers would be.
I think he's landed more strikes in the history. I think he's landed strikes landed of any fighter in the history of the UFC.
Yeah, ever. He set them all. Look, yeah.
I think so.
The dude from Junkie put up a whole page of all the fucking striking stats and stuff that he holds now after that fight. It's fucking insane, dude.
Yeah,
he's only like fucking 27 or something.
Yep,
like
that's
the
correct.
Dude's like still so young, dude, and holds all those fucking striking stats.
Yeah, he's what the Diaz brothers would be if they learned how to to get some takedown defense and a kicking game, because he has so much forward pressure. His boxing is absolutely unreal. Can take a really good shot. Like, holy fuck, he is good. With these health issues, if they are completely out of the way, or if they were even a thing, like he's gonna be a bad matchup for damn near everybody. I think him going up is kind of a money thing. He could definitely stay at 145 and beat up on some guys that I don't think are
Alex Volkanovski.
I know,
and
Otto
Moicano and Frankie Edgar. I mean, sure. I mean, he might do that for a little bit. I don't.
He could
I don't
do
mind
that. I just think
he smashes them all, but
if he wants to make money, he'll go up to 155 because that's where the bigger money is. That's where the bigger pay-per-views are, I think. But either way, I'm cool with whatever. I just want to see the dude fight because that is absolutely bonkers, the pressures he puts on people. I know we talk about Tony Ferguson's pressure. This is up there and even more with how good his boxing is. Just an absolute treat to watch.
It's the same level, in my opinion. The way I see it, it's very similar.
Too. Give Ortega props. That dude's got some massive balls.
He went out there and went after it too. I mean, he wasn't afraid to strike with Holloway. He didn't run away.
Yeah, he did a lot better than I thought he would in the striking game. I mean, he
counters pretty well.
Yeah, he countered pretty well.
If you listen to Rogan and Felder, I mean, he won the striking in that fight. How fucking crazy was that to listen to that, man?
They get on.
How bad has Rogan got at commentating?
He's so bad.
I mean, Felder was too that
I know,
night, man.
It seems like they get on they see something and they just run with it. Like they don't really adapt. Like they get on this thing where, oh, this guy's tired. He's absolutely fucking tired. Or this guy, wow, he's doing well in the striking. And like they were just no selling so much of what Max was doing. I was listening to that and I was just like, what the fuck are they watching? It's seems like a completely different fight.
Yeah, I think guys kind of follow Rogan too when he does that shit. These younger announcers or just younger in the game. Yeah, dude, I think he kind of drags them into that bullshit, man. And because Felder is the perfect example. That guy's been pretty decent, very good on some cards, and mostly pretty decent. And literally, that Saturday night he was going along with Rogan like the same shit. I'm like, man, they're both doing this shit. But I think it's Rogan, man. He drags guys into that shit. And it was bad during that Ortega fight, man.
Yes, it was.
It was insanely bad. Hell, Rogan was pretty much openly cheering for Jessica I. Like, straight when she got taken down that one time, he went, "Oh no," like out loud, like, "What do you mean? Oh no?" You know what I'm saying, motherfucker? Like, you got money bet on her or what, dude? But yeah, it was bad, man. And I'm been a big Felder fan as far as his announcing goes, and man, it wasn't good.
A couple of those fights were definitely not good for him on this one.
I honestly don't think Rogan bets on fights.
Nah, I don't think.
No, he doesn't bet on fights. But I think his heart isn't. His heart is not in this anymore. Like, he doesn't know who most of the fighters are. Like, it's kind of a part-time job.
Too much other shit going on.
Which is
he makes real money other places now. You know, it's. I think
okay. And that's
okay. It's kind of. I think it's more of a business decision because he'll go to these pay-per-view cards and he does these big comedy shows.
Yeah, he's double dipping.
Yeah, that's why he stays doing the fucking so many pay-per-views every year, because that's big money. That's audience. Like, he'll sell out fucking a weekend worth of shows because the UFC's in town.
Or Friday nights, they'll do 1 or 2 shows. Yeah. And it makes sense. You have all the UFCs. They should not have him an entire card. They should just have him come in for whatever deal it is, have him come in and just do I don't know, do the main card or something. Like,
then they're letting Jimmy Smith go. Like,
yeah, that's shitty.
Keep roaming around.
Wait, what happened with Jimmy Smith?
They're letting him go?
Well, they didn't re-sign him. His contract's up after this year, and I'm pretty sure he's done because he's not really on any of the remaining cards. And now Bisping's going to be a color guy.
Yeah.
That kind of makes senes. I could see it. That's ESPN's decision, in my opinion.
Yeah. He got signed to an ESPN deal. Pretty much, he's going to be on like their UFC Tonight Show and stuff too.
What happened? So we didn't talk about this earlier, and I meant to bring this up. So UFC Tonight's over on Fox.
Yep.
Is Florian done?
If they don't get picked up, yeah, that show's done. The whole Fox crew and all that shit.
His namesake.
Hopefully. I would say guys like DC and them's going to get picked up before Florian and stuff.
Well, the only guys connected with ESPN right now is it's just Helwani, Okamoto, and I guess Chael, right? Which is weird because Chael fights for a competitor, yet you have him signed to talk about fights for another organization. To me, that's very weird and a conflict of interest. But whatever.
Yeah, it'll be I don't know if have they announced that there's a plan to do like a weekly UFC TV show.
Yeah,
well, I think you have Luke knows this show. That's on the channel.
Yeah, what I was reading today is because of Bisping's deal, they said something about his deal is to be an announcer on there now and do and be on their UFC Tonight Show. So I guess apparently they're going to be doing.
But Bisping was on UFC Tonight already, though, wasn't he? Wasn't he the regular host?
I'm saying just ESPN's version of it.
Yeah, just a weekly ESPN UFC show.
So apparently they're going to do like another one that's going to have a host and all that besides the Helwani and Chael stuff.
I mean ESPN has a ton of people they can just do it. I mean,
they're going to sign they're going to sign other fighters in and a host and shit, though. Just hopefully it's not fucking Karen Bryant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, anybody.
Can we be done with her? Is this it for her? Who cares about Florian?
There's a chance.
Come on. Come on.
There's a chance.
Please.
There's a chance. I mean, ESPN has probably 50 women that they can, if they want to have a woman host it, or they got Max Bratos. That wouldn't be terrible. He's big into MMA, isn't he? And he's an announcer for them, so that could make sense. I mean,
you could almost put any
it's going to be really interesting.
Host, yeah.
It's going to be really interesting to see what happens when ESPN signs on in terms of what kind of programming they do, what kind of setup it's going to be, if any structure changes whatsoever. I mean, how involved is ESPN going to be in the just the promos and the live sets and how that changes the viewing experience, if it's going to be better or worse. I mean,
didn't UFC keep most production though
in-house?
Well, who knows?
But I don't know if that changes with the ESPN deal. Like they did with Fox, but I don't know if that changes with the ESPN deal, right?
I thought they kept most of the production rights with the ESPN deal.
Is there going to be a post-fight show, or are there going to be pre-fight shows? Who knows?
I mean, there kind of already is right now.
Yeah, Helwani already does
a post-fight show.
Yeah,
but that's on the Plus platform. Is it going to be on the TV platform, or is it all going to be on the Plus?
I'm sure we'll start getting a little more of on the TV side, but a lot of that shit is going to be on the Plus.
Platform. Yep. That's actually my favorite thing about the Fox deal now is that you get the post-fight show on TV. So I always kind of go back and get the highlights and see the post-fight interviews and commentary. I find it quite useful, but it's going to change for everybody. So anyway, we got another event this week, the penultimate event of 2018. The UFC really seems to like to do this Milwaukee show in December. I think they've done it as a pay-per-view before. They've done it as a Fox show before. But it's an okay card on paper. Not too many really sexy matchups, but a lot of decent matchups. I think so, especially in the prelim card isn't terrible. First fight up, we got one of Wes's favorite heavyweights, Chris De La Roca, taking on what looks to be a pretty good prospect in Juan Adams. Now, Wes, does De La Roca have any shot here?
Rage Against the Machine,
Rage
baby.
Against the Machine.
Killing in the name of. No, he doesn't, man. This Juan Adams guy, man, is he might be the real deal, but I'm going to sit back and watch one or two first before laying minus 425 on a 5-fight heavyweight prospect. So yeah, pick is going to be Juan Adams, but I'll sit back and watch this one. Maybe look at something inside the distance or something for fun, but yeah, just going to watch.
Anyway, new Sean, any thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, Juan Adams is a fairly hyped heavyweight. He wrecked that guy on the Contender Series. He still only has had 4 professional fights, so it's a bit scary, and heavyweight is scary enough as it is betting on guys. So I would caution laying minus 425, but to each their own. Fight doesn't go to the decision is minus 600, so the under 1.5 is minus 185. So this might be a quick night. We're probably gonna get a highlight reel knockout, so that'll be fun to see.
Nah, I'm thinking maybe some fatty's gonna fatty. Ooh. That's what just crossed my mind. We got a 1.5 at shit, that
plus 160 if you're feeling like somebody's gonna get tired, but I don't know, man.
It's De La Roca though. He's
horrible. No, he's terrible.
Juan Adams has not made it out of the first round in his professional career.
He also has a loss.
4 fights.
4 fights. I know, fair enough. 4 fights, but
he's gonna kill this guy.
He's like
Juan Adams. Kill this guy. Juan Adams is a D+ so far, probably higher, but we'll need to see as time goes on. Chris De La Roca is an F-. He is terrible.
Yes, sir.
I mean, there's no other way around it. He is really, really, really bad. And the only way, look at his last fight. Just look at it. Oh my God. His only UFC win was over Rashad Coulter, and he was getting hurt in that fight. It was pathetic. And he's been TKO'd by Adam Milstead and Daniel Omielanchuk. Oh, good. Juan Adams is what I've been talking about, a guy who's fits the profile of what the new UFC heavyweights are. They're 6'4", 6'5", big guys near the heavyweight limit, and they're going to hurt you. This is what he's capable of. He's a pretty darn good prospect, and he's set up here to run over Chris De La Roca. He wins easy, in my opinion. He's one of the easiest bets on the card. Next bout up, Zach Cummings taking on Trevor Smith. Zach Cummings up to middleweight now, eh?
Yeah. Looks like it. Actually, I like Cummings in this spot, man. I did like him a whole lot more on the opening line, but it is getting a little crazy up at 3-1. I don't know if I'd play him there, but man, Trevor Smith is fucking horrible, dude. And he's pushing fucking 38.
Correct.
I think Cummings could absolutely body this up and make this a real ugly fight, man, and get a pretty easy decision here, man. I put him in a parlay on the open at minus 185, but I wouldn't, honestly, probably wouldn't touch him at minus 300, man. That's just getting a little crazy. I do think he wins this fight pretty easily, man. Trevor Smith is fucking terrible, dude.
Sean, do you agree?
Yeah, for the most part. I played goes the distance in this fight. I put it in a parlay. I got it at minus 215. It's actually come down. Don't really understand that. It's sitting at minus 185, so I'm going to add some into that parlay. Zach Cummings going up in weight. He does have some finishes, and I know Trevor Smith is pretty fucking terrible.
He's tough though,
but he's pretty tough. Like, he's gone to 5 straight decisions, and with that going up in weight, I don't know how much Cummings is going to carry his power. I mean, he's more of a kind of a grappler guy anyway, but I expect Cummings to win the decision. I also grabbed him by decision. I got a total of a unit on it at the average odds of minus 104.
Very nice.
Yep.
This one's a little. This one's not the easiest fight to call, in my opinion. I got Cummings a C-, Trevor Smith a D+. I definitely think he's the more skilled fighter, but it is a pretty significant move up in weight. I mean, his last fight was against Mikel Prazeres, of all people, much shorter opponent. And he's fought predominantly at welterweight. This is up middleweight, so a little bit of just a little bit of an extra point. It's hard to see Cummings getting a finish here. I think it goes to a decision as well. If it does get into a grindy kind of a fight, I mean, it could be pretty close. I mean, since Smith is bigger, he's got some wrestling background, but Cummings can also grapple, decent submission game. So, I think Cummings wins, but it's not. It's certainly not a lock, and it's a fight I'm going to look to avoid betting on this card. Next up is Adam Milstead and Mike Rodriguez.
Mike Rodriguez?
That's your Fight Pass headline. Remember when being a Fight Pass headliner? Yeah, that was a big deal. UFC is promoting it now.
What, you're not a fan of Milstead versus Rodriguez? Come on. It's a fucking barn burner.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I think we talked before the show. There's a handful of fights on this card that's just kind of like, what the fuck? Like, really? To me, I think these fights, though, are kind of going to, Jay sending out the tweets for the next Toutmaster sign-up. But as far as this one coming down to the last few cards, I think these fights like this are kind of going to decide who wins that contest, because I think they're just some random ass fights, man, that I don't really know how you can break them down great. As far as this one, Milstead is kind of mooky, man. Rodriguez had that crazy good win on the Tuesday Night Contender Series, and then looked pretty shitty against Devin Clark. Clark didn't look too bad, I guess, last time out. Not as bad as he usually does. So, I don't know, man. I think these are going to be dog or pass on most of these who fucking knows fights. So, I'm going to take the dog here in Toutmaster, and there's no way I'm betting this fight.
Yeah, that's fair. New Sean.
I don't know, guys. This Adam Milstead's pretty good. He's got a TKO win against the aforementioned Chris De La Roca, so you never know. Yeah. Fuck. I have no idea. I don't care. I'll flip a coin for who I put in Toutmaster, and hopefully it comes up as the dog.
Yeah, I have both these guys at D. I'll side with Rodriguez, just being a long, lankier fighter. And, Milstead had that knee problem a bit back, tore his knee. So, I'll go with Rodriguez just because, honestly. Not much to separate these two besides that. Andrea Lee, I know that's a West favorite, taking on Jessica Rose Clark. Great old women's flyweight matchup.
Oh, Jesus. Man, I really don't think much of either of these. I think Andrea Lee is probably a little bit better here. She's going to be the bigger, stronger fighter. I don't know how you lay minus 250 on either one of these people. I'd like to take the dog here in Top Master, but I honestly don't think she has a chance. But like I said, you can't lay any kind of real money on Andrea Lee. I'll probably take her in Top Master, but I don't want anything to do with this fight.
Who's Sean?
Yeah, it's hard to put anything on this fight, especially with Andrea Lee's issues, shall we call them, in the past couple months. If I was gonna bet it, I would probably look to take Lee by decision. It's minus 141 right now, but I'm staying clear.
I have both fighters to C minus. Lee's striking game definitely better. Rose Clark's a little bit scrappy and can kind of make this fun on the mat. I probably look to Tout Master Dart. Not that it matters, as I'm not winning anything, but it's not something you do. You flip a coin sometimes.
That's right.
Hope it hits. That's how you win those kind of contests. So, I'll take. Like I said, I think Lee wins, but it's not as wide. Yeah, it's not as wide as the line is out there. I don't say I know much about Jordan Griffin, but maybe Wes does, taking on Dan Edge.
I can't say that I know much about this dude. Looks like something out of his pick, man. It's just like
dick pic.
Nah, I mean it probably the waist down. He's literally probably got a fucking an 8-inch hard on.
Oh, okay. So he's a little Tito.
Yeah, a little Tito.
Mini Tito.
His nickname is the Native Psycho.
Yeah, guess so.
That's interesting.
Yeah, man, this is another one.
Guy.
I think Inge is probably a little bit better fighter here. The loss to Arce a couple back doesn't look as bad now, and I mean he just murked a shitty dude in Mike Santiago. So there's just I don't know. I'm not taking the time to look at any of this bullshit.
They lost to Dan Morit, and Dan Morit's not very good. But he was on the Dana White Contender Series, and I'm drawing a blank too. I don't remember this fight.
He's been on a shit ton of LFA cards and King of the Cage cards.
Yeah. I remember him fighting on LFA, but that's about it. A faint memory, and I don't give a shit enough to go back and watch any of this shit. And this is another one that I'm probably just gonna take this mini Tito since he's a plus 150 dog in Top Master, and I don't want any of my money on this fight.
All right, Nushan, I guess you're passing on thoughts here.
Yeah, for the most part. Jordan Griffin, obviously from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He fights for Rufus Sports, so he's gonna have a bunch of hometown fans there. Whether that's a good thing or not is another question. I'll take Dan Edge as he's more of a bit of a well-known commodity.
Yeah, I'm going to pass my thoughts on this fight. Let's move up to middleweight. We got Gerald Meerkat.
The Meerkat.
Taking on Jack Herman. I think you might have a play on this bout.
I don't, but I'm thinking about a play if the line keeps going a certain way. I think this is a closer fight than the line, man. I think these guys are actually fairly similar. Hermanson probably a little bit better on the feet boxing, but I think the Meerkat, if it gets on the mat, is a little bit better on the mat. So. Really close fight, and it's hard to I think pick a winner straight out because I think they're similar guys. But if the Meerkat keeps getting a little bit more of a dog, I might take a little shot. Definitely a pick in Top Master because he's definitely a tough out. What you're going to get every time out of him. He usually doesn't quit. He stays in a fight. So will be a pick in Top Master, and if he keeps going up, maybe a little bit.
All right, Nushan, sure. Who's winning this bout?
I think Hermanson gets the Meerkat early, but if he doesn't, I think the Meerkat will get Hermanson down and probably sub him. I took fight doesn't go to decision at minus 265. I put it in a parlay. It's a tiny bit cheaper now. I think both these guys are finishers, and if they don't get their way, then usually they get finished. So I think somebody's getting finished in this one. Probably Hermanson in round one on the feet, and maybe some ground and pound.
Okay, then I got Meerkat a C minus, Hermanson a C. I do think Hermanson's a better striker on the feet. On the ground, I mean, I think it's fairly competitive. I mean, Hermanson should win this bout, but I think it's probably about 20 cents short. He probably should 165-ish, somewhere in that range, not minus 190. So there's a little bit of value on Meerkat, but that's not enough for me to really jump in at this point. Jared Gordon taking on Joaquim Silva. This should probably be one of the best bouts, on the prelims, I imagine, right, Wes?
Yeah, it should be a burner. I tell you, if Gordon wasn't coming off that fucking knockout, and it hadn't been fucking 10 months, man, I trust him a whole lot more in this spot. Silva losing to fucking Pichel, whether he's 10-0 or not, I don't. That dude's not great or anything. But I can't trust Jared Gordon after not seeing him for 10 months and coming off a loss like that. Don't really want my money on Silva here, though. Maybe if he was a little bit bigger dog, I might take a shot. But I'll probably pick Gordon in Top Master too, man. I think he's the better guy. Sometimes it's good to take that amount of time off after a loss like that, but I just think he's a little bit better fighter at this point. If he didn't recover from that knockout, though, Silva's I guess he hits kind of hard. He got hole broke pretty good, but he went to a split with fucking Reza fucking Madadi and shit. So, yeah, like I said, if Gordon had fought after that and I'd seen him one fight, I would be on him here because he's only like a minus 150 fave to this guy here, and Gordon's probably going to be the pick, but I can't trust him yet to bet real money on him.
Nushan, are you in agreement on that thought?
On the pick, yeah. That Vink Pickle loss for old Silva is not a good look.
No.
He is bad, and he lost that one for sure.
What is bad?
Silva's a guy that just does not fight often. This is the first time that he's fought twice in a calendar year since 2014. And the only reason is because he fought on January 27th, so he had a full year to get that second fight in. Like Wes, I'm a little bit scared of that knockout with Jared Gordon. I just haven't really. I don't know. I don't know too much about this. I don't have like a good edge on this fight. I'll pick Gordon for being the more active fighter, and we'll see how that goes.
Okay, I got Jared Gordon a C, Joaquim Silva a C minus. Yeah, Wes is right though. There is some question marks surrounding Jared Gordon coming off the first loss of his career, but his output is just really significant.
He's better. Better.
Just looking at it. Just looking at some numbers here. I know that it's a pretty limited skill set, but in his 3 UFC fights, he landed 6.68 strikes per minute. Compared to Joaquim Silva's 3.07, and he doesn't even absorb that many strikes, 2.92 per minute. So it's a huge, and he can add in the wrestling. Joaquim Silva's not going for takedowns, and he's only got 65% takedown defense. Jared Gordon lands 3.41 takedowns per 15 minutes in the octagon. I know it's just some numbers and it's a limited set of fights, but the numbers are just a huge variance. I like Jared Gordon here quite a bit. I think this gets him back on track. Just kind of listen to some of the comments from him. It seems like he's got everything back in line here. I mean, he did some past, drug addiction, but it seems like he's in a pretty good place. And I think that's going to set up well for him in this bout. Plus,
Ryan's right.
I just want to see one more thing. I just want to see Joaquin where he's won and lost some of his fights.
Oh, you think if he loses away from Brazil?
I'm just taking a look. Well, he's got the Holbrook win in Vegas. Yeah, but this is different. I mean, this is going to be. And he's got the Reza Madadi win in Sweden, but that was a weird fight. Nothing there on that note, but I'll take. I mean, Jared Gordon should win. I mean, he's just more volume, works harder. End of story. So moving up, this one I think we'll talk a little bit about Bobby Green and Drakkar Klose. Wes, this is one of the more predictable fights on the card on paper, is it not?
I mean, to me, I'm not the biggest Bobby Green fan. All around. I think Klose wins this by decision. I think it's going to be a fairly boring fight, but one that Klose can control. Thought we saw somebody on Twitter that likes Bobby Green in this fight quite a bit, but I just don't. I don't know how you can. I mean, he's so mooky, man. Dude's got talent in spots, but Klose is the guy's a safe fighter, man. You know what you're going to get out of him every time out. That I thought that was a really good performance against Lando last time out. The guy lost to Tamer, which dude's a beast. So. Klose is on the way up, and Bobby Green's a mook, and I think Klose is actually a pretty good parlay piece on a card that I don't like a lot of stuff on. So I'll be using him in some. I haven't played him yet, but I'll be putting him with something on this card.
All right, new Sean.
I think Bobby Green kind of excels if it's just kind of a strictly boxing stand-up kind of fight. When guys start throwing in kicks and takedowns and stuff like that, that's kind of where he falls apart a bit. And I think that's what Klose is going to do. He's going to stand a bit and then mix it up, do some grinding on the fence, take him down, rough him up on the ground, and kind of repeat. So Bobby Green is tough. I think he's going to hold on for a decision. I parlayed goes to the decision at minus 275 with the Meerkat Hermanson. Doesn't go 3 rounds, and I got that at like minus 115, I believe, or something like that. I just got it for 1 unit. I also played Klose by decision. I got it at minus 132.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Damn. That's gone up. Hell yeah.
It's gone up.
Yeah, I got both. I got both these guys ranked as a C. I mean, I think Green is certainly the more technical striker, definitely a better boxer. But again, it comes down to volume. It's a big. I don't want to read too many, but
read them, Jay.
Yeah, this one might be worth it.
Stats guy. Mm-hmm. Let's go.
Not much here. Nothing really. I mean, somehow Bobby Green's striking stats are up, are actually higher landed strikes. He actually lands 5 significant strikes a minute. Seems pretty hard to believe, in all honesty, but the thing here is that Klose also throws in takedowns, so he lands 2 takedowns per 15 minutes in the octagon. Bobby Green's takedown defense is only 71%. Yeah, I mean, pretty physically, they're similar sized. 1 inch difference in reach. Both orthodox fighters. The one thing the West says, Green, you don't know exactly what you get from him. He's kind of a mixed bag. Sometimes he comes out to fight. Sometimes he just kind of wants to do his little shoulder roll, thinks he's a little Floyd Mayweather, try not to get hit.
A lot.
Yeah, Klose is the type of guy, he pressures you. He likes to throw the kitchen sink, and he'll work all 3 rounds. He's a guy that's going to push you for 15 minutes, and he's a guy you like to bet on. Mm-hmm. But he's also a guy I like to bet on when he's like a plus 150 underdog and not minus 260. I mean, I think Klose wins, but I mean, I know Klose even opened up bigger in this fight, but
yeah, he's coming down.
This is just not a price that I'm really comfortable playing. like I said, I like Close. Close is kind of like a Barberina kind of guy where you like to bet him as an underdog and not bet him as a favorite. It just fits well with the style and, the MMA lab mentality. But I will, again, I'm probably gonna skip it if the line stays where it is. Last fight on the prelims, we got Zach Otto, or the corpse of Zach Otto, taking on newcomer Dwight Grant. Wes, is this another mauling?
Yeah, I mean, this is another one of those guys from AKA, man, one of those youngins that was on Tuesday Night Fights, man. That
they don't lose very often.
I mean, and they usually look very good on that show before they get moved up to the big show. And I mean, Zach Otto got tooled up by Sage fucking Northcutt, man. He's gonna get fucked up here. That's all I got. Right. That's all you need. He's gonna get hurt.
Yeah, Otto's bad, and I don't know much about Grant, but he seems to be pretty hyped up. He's at a good camp, so if he doesn't destroy Zach Otto, it's not a good thing.
No, we're talking about an 8-1 fighter. Yeah, exactly. From New York City as well. I remember him from the Contender Series, and this guy he was one of the best prospects on the show overall, and he's just old and over the hill and really doesn't have much left to offer. I mean, it's a guy that got finished by Sage Northcutt. Okay?
Yep.
Period.
Period.
That's all you
I'll leave it at that. I mean, there's, I'm just looking at the line. I mean,
future one champion Sage.
That's right.
Future champ Northcutt. Nah, it's not really. I guess you can't. I mean, it would be kind of fun to parlay Adams and Grant, but I guess the price doesn't really line up to do that. You'd want it to come down a little bit, but I mean, again, this is the classic angle where you're fading.
Both inside.
An older guy who's over the hill. So there are certain other MMA pundits and shows that's like their only angle that they like to play. But I actually think this is actually a spot where that angle really plays well. I mean, Otto is just is way past it. Main card, and things get interesting now.
Ooh-wee.
We got Jimmy Miller, New Jersey Jim, taking on friend of the MMA Analysis, Charles Dubra Oliveira. Wes, I know you're excited for this.
Yeah, man. One of our faves. Pretty awesome. Last time out, he set the sub record, which is pretty damn cool. Guys, so many finishes in the UFC, man. Been around forever.
How old do you think he is?
Probably early 30s.
Man, he's 29 years old.
29. I mean, Jim Miller is only 35. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's pretty fucking crazy, too, if you think about it. Yeah, man, Miller, he cost me a little bit last time out. Yep. I'll give it to him. He caught Alex White. Props to him, but he's still fucking washed, man. Oliveira's going to end this how he wants to. People can keep talking all this shit they want about Oliveira, but he wins these kind of fights. He'll beat Jim Miller here. I parlayed him with Cummings on the open. I got minus 245 on him. That parlay pays plus 117. I'm probably put him by sub and something too, just to have a ticket on Chucky by sub, because it's going to happen. I think he gets it from the back this time, though, instead of the front. So Charles Oliveira by rear naked over Jimmy Miller.
Okay. Sean, same thoughts here, or you're going with Jimmy Miller on an upset?
Not a chance. Bronx's last 5 wins, all by sub. I know Jim Miller is a decent grappler, but he has some 2 losses by submission. I just expect this to happen. Bronx is just looking to set the record for subs, and I think he's just going to continually add to that. Sucks that the inside the distance line is pretty juiced up. It's minus 179, so passing on that. Hopefully get the sub prop around even money maybe, and I'll probably I'll take that.
I hope so.
I don't know if we'll get that, but I'll be looking to bet that if it's in that range.
Jim Miller to C, Charles DuBronx Oliveira at B-. I mean, I like Jim Miller. He's got, in a way, I mean, he's a Jersey guy. I mean, I feel like he's gotten better since, he figured out the whole Lyme disease issue and, started getting medicated for it. And he's fought better in his last handful of fights. There's no doubt about it. But he still his takedown defense is not very good. And if he gets taken down against DuBronx, it's not going to end well. I really don't see it ending well. If he can get through the first 2 rounds, maybe he's got a shot to pull something off in the third. But I like DuBronx Oliveira to get the win and even do so by sub. The drop isn't out yet, but we'll take a look at that once it does. 3 fights left on the card. Like I said, pretty good main card overall. We got Rob Font taking on Milwaukee's own Sergio Pettis. Wes, I have a feeling you're going to like the Massachusetts man in this one.
Man, this is an interesting fight, man, and an interesting fight in the young career of Baby Pettis here. I think. I think in certain situations, Font could have success in this fight, but I think in other situations, I think Baby Pettis can. And I mean, if this stays on the feet somehow, I think Pettis has got a pretty good shot, man. But I think Font's going to dirty this fight up, man. And I'm just not sure Pettis can still show that he can handle a fight that's kind of grimy up against the cage and stuff. That's just not a good part of his game. When he can stay at a little bit of distance and strike, he's very, very good. I still think Pettis might be getting a little overlooked here, though, man. I mean, plus 150 it's almost playable for me, man. I mean, he opened as a decent fave, and he's just been bet, way on the opposite side. So, man, the number is close to me taking a little shot here, and I probably will take Pettis and Topmaster because he's the dog. But like I said, I could see scenarios to where Font can definitely win this fight. So I don't think I'm going to have any real money on it, but probably going to take Pettis as a dog in Topmaster.
Okay. All right, new Sean.
Yeah, I'm on the other side. That opener of Rob Font plus 135 is laughable.
Yeah.
I still don't get the Sergio Pettis hype. I don't think he's that good. And now he's going back up in weight with guys that hit a hell of a lot harder than those 125ers. Rob Font has power. He was able to crush Thomas Almeida. He's got a bunch of finishes. I played him. I put him in a parlay with the Smith Cummings goes the distance. I got that at that parlay is plus 120, I think, plus 125. I'll be looking to sprinkle on Font inside the distance. I think he's going to come out to try to make a statement. And I know Pettis is skilled, but it's just I feel like he just gets way more credence because of his name. What is his standout performance? He beat Benavidez, sorta, kinda, but other than that, what's his big win?
What, Brandon Moreno?
Okay, in over 5 rounds.
Benavidez let him fight his fight too. I don't think Font's going to let him fight any kind of fight like that.
Font's going to pressure him and throw some heat. Yeah. So, I like Rob Font in this fight pretty decently.
I'm in complete agreement with Nushan. I got Font a B-, Sergio Pettis a C. Pettis moving up to bantamweight for this one in his bantamweight appearances, and I just don't think Sergio Pettis fits in the bantamweight weight class. He's been pretty formidable at flyweight, but all of his bantamweight fights, he's had struggles. He really has.
Big. He's a small dude.
Yeah, he's tiny.
And now he's facing a guy who's a legitimate bantamweight. Has pretty good power and really good hands. And it's a step up in competition too. And it just doesn't seem like a good spot for Pettis, despite being in front of the home crowd. He's been clipped in the past, Pettis, and now he's facing probably the guy that has bigger power than just about anybody who's ever faced. I think you could potentially get KO'd here. I think that's the angle. If you're going to play the inside the distance, you might as well just play the knockout prop. In my eyes, I think that's probably the most likely scenario. But still, even at minus 170, I think this is a pretty decent price. You could parlay him with Juan Adams. I think that works. That's probably the best way to look at this one. But I think
I'm swayed.
We convinced him.
It didn't going to take much. Yeah, I think both of you guys are right.
Man, this is like, I like those odds, like minus 160 to minus 200 odds, where you get a pretty good favorite and you're trying to figure out ways that the underdog can win, and you're just struggling to see how it's possible. But he's not out grappling him. He's not going to land bigger strikes on the feet, so he beat him landing more punches. Maybe, but there's no power behind him. Anything Font lands with is going to hurt Pettis. So I think, like I said, I think Font's one of the better bets on the card. Co-main event, we got Edson Barboza finally not facing an all-world fighter.
Yep.
Taking on
wrestler.
An all-world wrestler, taking on New Zealand's Dan Hooker in what is easily Hooker's biggest test to date. Wes, your thoughts here?
Yeah, I think what you touched on is kind of the whole scenario on this fight for me is Edson is not facing probably the best wrestling and top game ground and pound fighter right now in the sport, and probably the second best top game guy in the sport in Khabib and Kevin Lee. And I know one guy in particular that would actually ranks Kevin Lee above Khabib in that category. However crazy.
What's that guy's name?
That guy's name will teach you about mathematics. I'll put it like that.
Here we go.
So, but besides that, boy. I do think those guys they rank probably 1 and 2, definitely in that division. Of get you down and get on top of you and just and drop some shit, man. And I mean, Edson has had some of the best takedown defense in the sport coming into those two fights, but those are just two different kind of guys, man. And they put Edson in that spot, and he was done. Dan Hooker isn't either one of those guys, and not even close, man. That this is going to be a kickboxing match, and I mean, if you think Dan Hooker is at this point is a better kickboxer than Edson Barboza, man, I just don't know what to tell you. If he catches Edson with something that knocks him out, more power to you. Prove it to me. I got Edson at plus 110, and I put up fairly good size bet on that. I really like him in this spot. It's probably my favorite bet on the card.
Sean.
This line is perplexing.
Twitter nerd.
I don't know if it's Twitter nerds who's moving this lines or who it is, but I don't get it. I understand Dan Hooker's on a pretty damn good streak here. He's finished his last 4 fights, but the guys he's facing, I mean, Ross Pearson, Mark Diakese, Jim Miller, Gilbert Burns, like
he lost to Jason Knight.
I know. Those are good wins. They're not close to great wins. And Barboza, I guess their angle is Barboza's took 2 bad beatings in a row and he's a shell of himself. I don't see it, man. This guy is a fucking true blue fighter. Even in those fights when he was getting smashed, anytime he was on the feet, he was still throwing fucking heat. I just don't get this. This is going to be a kickboxing match, and if I would take Edson Barboza against most guys in a strict kickboxing match, and then you're giving me even money against Dan Hooker. This is
this is definitely a play for me. I got Barboza at plus 115. I just added at plus 100, and I might add another unit on him. So I just expect him to be the much better kickboxer, and he's got more power. Yeah, I don't understand it.
Yeah, Barboza B, Dan Hooker a C. Sorry, Dan Hooker a C plus. All those guys you mentioned, Dan Hooker's never been a fighter above a C level in his entire career. Just for some context, regarding Edson Barboza, let me just pull up some information here. Beneil Dariush B minus, Gilbert Melendez, now C plus, back then a B minus. Felder, what do I have him ranked now? He's also a B minus level fighter. I think I have a B minus. Yep, all those guys are B minus level fighters that he's beaten. So Dan Hooker never beaten a guy of that caliber. It just hasn't happened. It's a big step up. Take Edson down, at least with any regularity, maybe once in the bout. We have seen Edson clipped in the past. I mean, that is absolutely a possibility. There's no denying that. But, more often than not, this is, the vast majority of the time these guys fight, it's going to be a stand-up contest. And Barboza's he's just way better. His kicks are so much bigger. And he hits with a lot more power. I mean, Hooker's riding confidence, and that means something. But this is you just have to play it. He's not over the hill. He's a damn good athlete, more skilled, more experienced, better wins. Just play it, and if it loses, so be it. I mean, stranger things have happened. But I mean, you're getting even money, or it's a pick'em rather, on a scenario of a guy that I rate to Dan Hooker. It's a bet you have to make. It is our MMA Analysis consensus bet of the week. We got Edson Barboza. Is that minus 116 now, I think it is? Minus 115?
You can get it anywhere between plus 100 to minus 115 if you do some shopping all over the place. It's still a damn good bet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So Edson Barboza, basically a pick across the board. Main event, we got the rematch from 2014. I was at this fight at the Prudential Center.
Oh, shit.
Kevin Lee taking on Iaquinta. Wes.
Look, one dude fights. One dude likes to talk and sell houses. Like, seriously. Like, I like Al. I think he's a decent fighter. He's fun. I mean, I always watching Al Iaquinta fight when he's in between selling homes. I mean, the dude's fought like 3 times in 3 years, man. Kevin Lee's hitting his stride, man. I mean, that dude's at the top of his game right now. However you feel about Kevin Lee, that dude's legit. He lost to Tony Ferguson, which is, that's not a horrible loss. That's over a year ago now. Then he looked like he improved tons in the Edson fight. So I mean, Kevin Lee's still getting better, man. And I'm always gonna fade a guy that I don't think really wants to be a fighter. So I like Kevin Lee quite a bit in this spot. I think he finishes Al. There's no way I see Al taking 5 rounds of Kevin Lee on top of him. I know he did stay in there against Khabib, but that was a whole totally different scenario going into that fight. We knew what was on the line for Khabib there, and short notice and all that stuff. So, and like we said earlier, Kevin Lee one of just the best top games in that division, and he's going to get on top of Al multiple times in this fight, and it's not going to be pretty, man. And so, over 25 minutes, I think Kevin Lee gets Al out of there.
Nushan, you agree?
Yeah, pretty much all of what he said. I like Al as a fighter as well, but this is a part-time fighter versus a full-time animal.
Mortgage broke.
Yeah, mortgage.
Real estate agent.
He got good commercials.
He's a character, man. But
yeah,
this is a tough matchup. Kevin Lee's takedowns are very good, and his top game is fucking mean. He did well in that Tony Ferguson fight, and until he lost. This guy is definitely on the rise, and he has got a lot of momentum here. I played Kevin Lee inside the distance. I got him at -140. I just think that top game is going to be too much. You do have to worry a bit about Kevin Lee's chin. I know he's been clipped a couple times recently and did some dancing. But he seems to recover somewhat.
That
somewhat
recovery's
well.
Insane. Yeah, that recovery in the Barboza fight was just.
It helps so much that he can wrestle, because he if he does get rocked, he can go back to those roots and they still usually work. So hopefully he has his guard up against Al, gets him down, and does work on the ground. I expect Kevin Lee to get a finish in the mid to late rounds, the third or the fourth.
That shit Barbosa hit him with, Iaquinta ain't throwing any fucking thing close to what that shit Barbosa hit him with. And hey, like you said, at least it's good that his instinct in that situation is to fucking dive instead of like not swinging and shit, and getting completely finished. The dude at least does like go immediately for a takedown, But Al's not throwing that kind of shit. Nope. There's no fucking way.
Nope.
Yeah, main event time. Al Iaquinta, B. Kevin Lee, a B+, getting close to A-. Kevin Lee's, without a doubt, one of the most improved fighters in the sport over the past, say, 2.5 years. He's really become a pretty smart fighter. If you listen to him talk and just talk about game plan, I mean, he's pretty eloquent in how he thinks and how he speaks. And there's a lot to his game, like, as these guys mentioned, really, really good, double leg, really good, top control, really, goes to land, is able to flip, take the back, go for submissions. I don't know if he's going to get the knockout here. I think that's probably unlikely. I think the more scenarios he gets him on the ground, he's able to get a submission, rear naked choke on Al. The first time they fought, he had Al's back in his UFC debut when he was only like 20 years old or so, 20 or 21, and had Al in all sorts of trouble. Al was like a -500 favorite in that fight. And Kevin Lee almost submitted him, and that was a long time ago when Kevin Lee was nothing like the fighter he was, he's become now. So this is a really tough matchup for Al, I think, given the circumstances. His best bet is to clip Kevin Lee on the feet and finish him. Again, it's not impossible for that to happen. Al has pretty decent boxing, and he can hurt people, but I mean, Al just faced a similar kind of fighter in Habib his last time out, and he never really had Habib in trouble at all. And I really don't see much of a difference here in what he's going to be able to accomplish. So I'll take Kevin Lee for sure in this bout, and I'm going to say he's going to do so by submission. Ooh. That just about does it for this week's MMA Analysis podcast. We will be back after Christmas.
Maybe before Christmas. That week's
card.
The next one's not till the New Year's or the December 30th card. But I know
who's coming back.
Yeah, Jonathan Dwight. I know that.
Oh shit! He got his license back too. Did y'all see that fist pump pic? Him at the table, like, yeah, motherfuckers, I'm back. God, I love it.
He probably said that to Cormier and said, "I hope this is, you can keep this up in your bathroom, if you know what I mean."
I'm ready for him to smash fucking Gus too. Gus been running around talking like, who won that fight? You really know? Like, shut up, motherfucker. Fight.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Damn, so only 2 cards left to Talent Master. Shit, I thought we had 3. Man.
2 events. It's the penultimate event.
All right. Good stuff.
Uh-huh. That will do it. We'll be back. If we do an episode next week, maybe we'll. If this event's crazy, maybe we'll talk about it a little bit. Do a quick show.
Maybe if the lines are out next week,
yeah,
we'll just break that down because I know the next week's going to be kind of a shit show with it, Christmas and stuff like that. But
yeah, that is Christmas week. But
I got a lot of availability after Christmas. It sounds like Wes has got a lot of availability after Christmas.
Yeah, I'm just over with a controller and an eggnog and crown, usually around Christmas time. So,
nice.
So that does it. This should be a fun card. The main card looks like all 4 fights. Should be entertaining. So, if you don't have an interest in the prelims, the last 2 hours should be some chaos. So, it'll be a lot of fun. We'll talk to you. And again, if we don't do an event next week, happy holidays, and hope you get what you want.
Master signups
from good old Santa Poppy, and we'll be back later in the year. And absolutely, do not forget to sign up for 2019 Tout Master. This will be year 5 of the Tout Master competition. Time flies. I remember when we first introduced the contest. So, pretty cool that we're up to year 5. And with that, enjoy the fights.